What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Dynamic Leaders page. I'm Norman Harbin, and I'm glad to have you guys here with me for yet another dynamic topic, mastering setbacks and changes. This message is for anyone who's experienced failure or has some fears with moving forward because of things that you've experienced. And I want to share with you things that I've gone through this year, some of the challenges and successes that will help you move forward next year. All right? So let's begin with a question. Are setbacks and changes negative? Are setbacks and changes negative? So let me answer that for you. The answer is no. Setbacks and changes are not negative, but guess what? Setbacks and changes are also not positive. So let's answer that. Let's dive right into that. Let's dive into the meat of this conversation. So my father-in-law and I, we went and worked out yesterday. Had a great workout. Our muscles are sore, and you kind of have that great pump. I still feel pumped up yesterday from the workout that we had. Going into that workout, I'm not a novice. I've been working out for a long time. I expected pain. I expected the soreness in the muscle. Why? Because that's how you build strength. That's how you build stamina. That's how you provide all this energy to your body, is by making sure that you're working out those muscles. But what did we not plan for? What did we not expect? We don't plan for injuries, right? Nobody works out and say, oh, I want to work out and injure myself or hurt myself. And so when we're thinking about setbacks and we're thinking about changes from a negative perspective, we're thinking of not about necessarily the soreness that in life that produces positive outcomes, but we're thinking about the injuries that produce negative outcomes. And that's valid. However, if you are hyper focused on that, that is unhealthy for you. And let me tell you why. All right, let me set you at ease just a little bit. Life supports progress. All right, repeat after me. Life supports progress. I'm going to give you a simple example of that. Let's take a seed, for instance. You take a seed, any seed that is supposed to produce some type of fruit. You plant it in the soil, you plant it in the ground, in the right soil, in the right conditions, and guess what? When you're going through that, you understand that when you plant seeds in the right soil, in the right conditions, what happens? That seed ultimately sprouts, it takes root, and it grows, and is able to overcome the ground and produce what's in it to be produced, whether it's apples, oranges, whether it's pine or oak trees or pecans. Whatever tree it is, as long as it's in the right conditions, then it produces that fruit. And you look at life, you look at technology, look at how forward moving technology is. You think back to 200 years ago, we were operating off of horse and buggy, a horse and carriage. And now we have flying transportation. We have transportation vessels by sea that are moving at fast paces. We have automobiles that are moving over 200 miles per hour. So we have all of these different things that are showing us that life supports progress. I mean, look at social systems. All of the systems of the world, that life is supporting progress. Life is moving forward so that we can ultimately grow and become who we want to be. So if you're focusing on the negative things, I want you guys to calm down, all right? It's not that serious. Don't be that serious all your life. If you are focused on the positive aspects, right, that means that you have the dreams, you have the drive and the vision. You're focused on the positive things. You're focused on the soreness that happens and that is created in the muscle that's going to ultimately build strength, and that's going to build stamina, and that's going to generate energy in the body. But guess what? You could also be negligent to the point that you do injure yourself. And so there's this balance. So truly, setbacks and changes are neutral. It's all in what you do with it, right? It's all in how you use that information. And typically, here's what happens. If we are ignoring those signals, right? We're overly positive. Say I'm going into the gym and my regular weight is maybe like 225. I work out with 225. I do that with no problem, feeling good about it. But I go in and I just try to lift 400. That's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous amount of weight for me to lift if I do not already work out with 400 pounds or work out with something close to. And so that is an instant amount. I put myself under instant pressure and stress and unnecessary stress that can provoke injury. And so that's what happens a lot of times when we put unrealistic dreams on ourselves and visions and an unrealistic time frame, right? So let's say I want to become a multi-billionaire, right? And, you know, a lot of us, we put these declarations out there, and that's fine to, you know, put these, and it's fun to put these declarations out there and to stretch your imagination. But to say I'm going to become a multi-billionaire and I'm going to become a multi-billionaire in 12 months, but you have no plan, you have no talent, you have no goals, you just want it. All you have is this desire. That's ludicrous. Why would you put that amount of weight on you? You're going to have major setbacks. You're going to have lots of changes. You're going to have lots of disappointments, all because you did not have the right environment. It's not to say that you can't ever become a multi-billionaire or that there's not someone in the world that can become a multi-billionaire in a year. That's not to say that. It's not to say that it's not within the realm of possibility. But for you to go aimlessly after some goal, and it doesn't even have to be multi-billion, to be a multi-billion-dollar goal. For you to say have a six-figure goal but to have no plan for doing that is ludicrous. So it's to understand that there's a balance between this. There's a play between the positive and the negatives that allow you to balance this thing out and allow you to move forward, all right? So let's go into our next point. The next point is really about focusing on the cues. Focusing on the cues, understanding the cues, and being able to adjust your plan in order to be successful. So I want to share with you a setback of mine from this year and how I handled that setback and how I readjusted going into next year, right? So this year, or actually last year, December of last year, I bought my first property with the intention of returning it to the market. And my goal for this year was actually to help 50 families. I wanted to put 50 families in new homes, return those homes to the market, and serve these families with custom homes. And so I was excited about the goal. You know, I wrote out my business plan, wrote out my strategic plan and all these different things, and knew exactly how many houses I needed to sell and, you know, how much money I needed to do this. I got with my contractor. I wanted to test this or run a pilot by doing this first property. Well, this property should have taken maybe 45 to 60 days to complete at most, on average. The property ended up taking 9 months to complete and 3 months to sell. And at the end of the year, I only sold one property, right? Which, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful to have sold the one property, but I would have loved the 50. So it was a major setback. You know, I experienced a major setback this year. I did not obtain my goal, but I learned a lot in the process, right? Setback was communicating to me some details that I had missed. You know, you have to learn to understand or realize those small communications or signals that come, and I missed those small signals. I missed the pains in the muscles or the pains of life that were ultimately telling me, hey, pay attention here, pay attention there, and it cost me the goal. But again, I learned through that. It was not a career-ending injury, and I was able to move forward. So here are some of the things that I learned. First off, if I was going to return 50 properties back to the market, and it take on average 45 to 60 days, let's say on average 2 months, and I return at least one property to the market every 2 months, I am way under my goal. I can only produce 6 properties in a year. So I did not have a realistic time frame for helping fit 50 families. If I was going to help those 50 families, then I was going to have to do what? Maybe like somewhere between 7 or 8 properties every 2 months in order to reach that goal, right? But I was not able to do that, or sorry, maybe my math is off, like 8 or 9 properties in order to do that. But I did not have the plans nor the capital to have that amount of energy or to reach that type of goal every 2 months. So that was my first downfall, is that I did not have a plan that was sufficient enough or a time frame that was sufficient enough in order to reach that goal. The second thing is the choice of my contractor. I did do some due diligence with my contractor. You know, I worked with the contractor for 2 months. I was able to go on the job and see the type of work that was produced, and I was pleased with the work. But where I failed was asking about completed jobs. You know, maybe going to some homeowners and saying, hey, look, this person did work for you. How long did it take them? What type of work did they do for you? And how long did it take to bring it to completion? Or maybe some other investors, asking them those same questions, or maybe some other agents, some other realtors asking them those questions, taking professional references or asking for some of his professional references regarding the work. And if I had asked for those professional references, I probably would have gotten an honest answer that, hey, this person does good work. However, it's a little shaky on the time, so it's a gamble. You know, just if you're going to proceed with caution. And so I would have been better informed in my decision to either go with this particular contractor or to say, hey, look, this contractor is not the right person for this plan, right? If I have an aggressive plan of producing 50 properties and this, you know, this particular contractor is on the wavelength of producing, you know, 1, 2, or maybe 3 properties a year, then this is obviously not the right contractor for me. Need to go with the contractor that has a more aggressive goal. Obviously, I only had one contractor, so that one contractor was not enough to reach that goal of 50. I probably needed, you know, obviously, you know, 6 or 7 contractors in order to produce that many properties if I was going to be managing those relationships. So these are several things that I learned. Now, how did I use this information, right? We know that setbacks and changes are neutral. It's all about how you use it. You can't be ignorant, so you have to use it. So in using, I still have my goal. I have not diminished my goal or my dream of helping 50 families, but I have to do one of 2 things, right? And I've already decided which one I'm going to go with, but this is an exercise to help you. I either have to lengthen my time frame from 12 months to something like maybe 3 years, where, you know, maybe I approach or have a goal of helping 10 or 15 families my first year, and then doing the same thing or doubling it the next year, and continue to level up. So it takes me maybe 2 to 2.5 years in order to accomplish that goal. That's one way to do it. Or I could join with other investors who also have the goal of helping 10 to 15 families, and we come together and collectively we're able to serve those families, by coming together and combining our efforts. So the goal is that the idea is that you have to change your plan in order to fit what it is that you want to do. So, all right, guys, hopefully you're understanding this. Let's go back and review some of this. So when it comes to setbacks and it comes to changes, they are not negative, but they're also not positive. These are communication tools that let us know that we need to adjust. And the second thing is we need to use these communication tools. We need to use these signals in order to adjust our plan. Understand, the details. Understand that these signals are communicating details that we're are not aware of or that we did not account for. And we do need to account for these details. Nothing wrong with it. As long as you have the setbacks, there are some details that you're missing. It's not to say that you don't have 70% of the plan together, or 75 or 80 or 90% of the plan, but you missed a key area or a key component that now all you need to do is you just need to go back and add that key component. And once you do that, keep adding, keep adjusting, make these adjustments, then you are setting yourself up for success. All right? So guys, go ahead, like the page, subscribe to my channel, share this video with someone who needs to be encouraged today. Also, the Facebook page, Dynamic Leaders, again, it's right up here. Go to Facebook, go to Dynamic Leaders, look for this logo, and go ahead and like that page. So guys, we are moving forward into the next year, into the new year, and I hope you guys are ready for it. All right, take care, have a blessed day.